Friends, here we are for another episode as we're working on our picture of the Nativity story, the birth of Jesus, all throughout this Advent season. I'm so glad you've been joining us. I hope that you're having fun as we're adding pieces to our Advent drawing picture step by step. You'll remember last time we added in our little background of the city of Bethlehem where Jesus was born. And today we're going to be adding in one more animal into our story. In fact, it's the animal that's probably most likely actually to have been there when Jesus was born. We said that there might have been a donkey that Joseph and Mary rode. We're not sure, but it's a good guess. We might imagine that there were cows in the place where Jesus was born because they put him in a food trough. We're going to get to that part of the story in a little bit. But there's a mention in the story where God sends angels to go appear to some shepherds who are keeping their sheep. So there's actually sheep who are mentioned in the Christmas story. We're going to add in the sheep in our picture today. We're going to talk in our next episode coming up about the shepherds, the people whose job was to actually take care of the sheep, who are sort of outside of town, and how they get invited into town to come find the baby when he's born. But for today, we're just going to be drawing a sheep. Now, also, it's important to remember, like we've been noticing throughout this whole story, there are little parts of the story of the birth of Jesus that help us remember other times in Jesus' life and ministry. So, like we talked about how when Jesus' mom and dad, when Joseph and Mary are riding into Bethlehem, we imagine they were on a donkey, and that sort of helps us to remember there's gonna come a day when Jesus rides a donkey when he comes into Jerusalem on what we call Palm Sunday. Well, the lamb is an important image to help us remember Jesus too. We'll talk later on. In fact, later on in the story of Jesus, other people call him the Lamb of God because, like the old lambs that would be sacrificed for the people's sin, Jesus sort of offers his life up like a lamb. So in a number of ways, Jesus sort of is represented by a lamb in the Bible a number of times, even though Jesus also calls himself the Good Shepherd. So there's a bunch of images in the story of Jesus' birth that help us kind of point the way to who Jesus is. Today we're going to be drawing a sheep. So come in close and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so here's what we're going to do to draw our version of a sheep. We're not going to worry about whether this looks exactly like the animal. I mean, you can see our donkey's a little bit cartoonish too, a little bit simplified. That's okay. The idea is to help get the idea of what the picture is. And so for our sheep, I want to start, and I'm going to ask us to draw a circle. Think we can start there? All right. We're going to put this circle, it's going to go right about here. So your D from God, way back when we started, is over there. We're going to go a little bit down toward the bottom and a little bit over toward the right. And I'm just going to draw a circle, kind of like that, okay? Got our circle so far? Definitely good so far. All right, now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to draw sort of a wide letter U, like that. It could almost look like a smile, but it's not really going to be the smile. This is actually the nose of our sheep. And we're going to draw a line coming down, so it almost looks like the letter Y. See how we've got our circle and what kind of looks almost like a letter Y right there? That's the muzzle of our sheep, and we're going to give him a little bit of a mouth there. So now it's like a Y with a little line at the bottom, or almost looks sort of like a wine glass or something like that. So there's part of our sheep's face, and we're going to give him one eye there and one eye there. See how we just drew circles for the eyes? Now, if you want, you can sort of fill in most of that circle, but just leave a little bit open. And that sort of gives the effect. It looks like there's a little bit of light reflecting in that sheep's eye. Kind of cool, huh? So we're going to add two ears sort of flopping off to the side like that. One over there, and one sort of flopping off this way. And now we're just going to make these real kind of fluffy sheep. So maybe these guys are in need of being shorn so that their wool can be collected. But so for right now, we're just going to make them real fluffy. So almost sort of like you're drawing a cloud. There's our big fluffy sheep body there. Okay, we're going to put a fluffy little tail on the back like that. So far, so good, right? Now we're going to give him some legs. It's real easy to do legs here. What we're going to do is we're going to put two lines together, side by side like that, and we're going to connect them at the bottom. And two lines together over here. We're going to connect them at the bottom. Now we've got two front legs, and we're going to give two back legs, just like that. And again, when we get to coloring, we might decide to make his legs sort of dark gray maybe, and his face dark gray, and make the sheep, the wool part white, or we might decide a different color, but that's how our sheep's going to look. Now later, we're going to add in the people whose job is to take care of those sheep, the shepherds. Obviously, where there are sheep, somebody needs to be keeping an eye on them. That's what the shepherds are going to be for. But the sheep's going to be in the front, in the foreground of our picture, so we're drawing him in first. We'll get to the shepherds later on in this series. So thanks for joining us here today. Now you've got your sheep. We're slowly getting our picture coming together that tells the story of the birth of Jesus. So there's our picture so far. We started with God in the center. Now we're adding all kinds of things in. We've got people, we've got animals, we've got angels, we've got a roadway, we've got Bethlehem. We're still missing some important characters and some sort of side characters we'll talk about as well. And, of course, Jesus himself is yet to come. So join us again as we keep on going through this Advent drawing journey and draw out the story of Jesus' birth here. Join us next time.